Of course, the world's eyes on Ukraine as the Russian invasion continues there. But here at home, we have an economy that's facing the worst inflation in 4 decades, also still coming out of the pandemic. So a lot of people focused on D.C. tonight, and the president going to deliver his first State of the Union address.
That's right. Joining us now from Capitol Hill is the junior senator from New Jersey, Cory Booker. Welcome back to GMA3, Senator Booker. And yes, we know that President Biden delivering technically his first State of the Union address tonight. What do you want to hear from the president?
Well, I hope the president tells a story that inspires a nation. 13 months ago, when he took office, we were in financial freefall. We were losing hundreds of thousands of jobs a month. We had not one person with a vaccine in their arm. We had our businesses closing and the like. And he came and met that crisis, the greatest of which we've seen in modern presidencies, where he helped to get this economy back on its feet with the greatest job growth we've seen really in recent history, including the greatest economic growth year over year. He met the challenges of the pandemic and got our small businesses the resources they need to survive, hospitals, schools, the biggest infrastructure bill in the history of America, investing in our country, investing in ourselves, creating millions of jobs. And then I want a vision of the future. We are facing some serious inflation. We are seeing supply chain problems to corporate gouging. And I know he has a vision, along with the Senate, to deal with that by lowering costs for Americans, from their child care to their insulin costs. And I want him to charge forward to show America the truth of his administration as we're climbing out of the gutter that we inherited of challenges. But united, we are going to overcome this and see better days ahead.
And Senator, no doubt, he's going to be talking about Russia and Ukraine this evening. We're almost a week in now to this invasion of Ukraine by Russia. Sanctions have been imposed by this president, by the United States. But beyond a symbolic resolution, what would you like, or what do you think the Senate can be doing to further support what's happening in Ukraine?
Well, remember, there's a long lead up to this. There's bipartisan resources, even since the last administration, that we have been approving to support Ukraine. Over $1 billion so far in the last year or so for defensive as well as offensive efforts by the Ukrainian defense. In addition to that, one of the greatest diplomatic achievements we've seen, again, in a generation, was President Biden's ability to unite not just NATO countries, which are more united, but unite really from the EU to Asian nations who are now joining with us in supporting the Ukraine defense effort. You have countries that we've just never seen before, like Sweden, even Germany, sending offensive weaponry to the Ukraine defense. So we are seeing this incredible united set of nations, free democracies, joining together to protect Ukrainian freedom. And I'm inspired by it, but this is going to be a long conflict. And I think we have the grit and the guts in this country, a free democracy, to be with the Ukrainians in terms of sanctions and support to their defense.
Senator Booker, you visited Ukraine back in 2017, and you posted a video on Twitter recalling a meeting you had with one city's mayor. You said, "No meeting moved me more." Talk a little bit about that meeting and what it means to you today, seeing the events take place in Ukraine.
This is a guy who beat a pro-Russian person to become mayor. This is after the incredible stand in the Maidan fight, where Ukrainians sacrificed themselves to throw out the Russian puppet. And to see how much he savored the democratic ideals, how much we shared these same principles of freedom, self-determination. It was such an inspiring meeting to me, especially because of what have we meant to Ukraine. We stand for something in this world, and now we should unite around those principles, not just in Ukraine, but fighting the challenges of our planet right now, from climate change to a famine crisis in places like Afghanistan. We are a force of good in this world. Other nations know it. When you travel, you see that spirit. It's really something that's inspiring me right now in this time of crisis.
And Senator, I want to ask you about the ongoing criticism that's out there about some racial bias in media coverage of the conflict that we're seeing. Some outright saying, right, these are blonde-haired, blue-eyed folks, and our heart go out to them, or this is a more civilized place where this is happening. And even some of the pictures we've seen of Africans being denied places on buses or not allowed to cross borders, just flat-out discrimination of some of the accusations. I just wonder, where do you think, even though these are human beings, no matter what color they are there in Ukraine, that our hearts can go out to, how important do you think it still is to highlight and to talk about some of those parts of the coverage of the story as well?
I think we should. We should always self-interrogate ourselves. And a lot of the criticism is true. Nothing should reduce the moral urgency of the cause of Ukraine and the sentiment it inspires within all of us. I've seen so much compassion. I've seen so much active empathy. But my frustration has been a lot of the rhetoric. We are all human beings. And where is the same kind of empathy right now for the fact that in Afghanistan, more people are going to die perhaps in the next months than died in 20 years of war because of famine? Where are conflicts ranging from Myanmar to the Horn of Africa? We have to be able to muster the same level of empathy, even for people suffering in our own hemisphere from victims of violence and bands of people in some South American countries right now, or the Northern Triangle, where you see rape and murder in a rampant way. So the greatest force in humanity is this ideal of loving thy neighbor. And I love patriotism, but love shouldn't stop at our borders. Love shouldn't stop for people that just look like us. And this is a time where we have planetary crises like we've never seen before, from refugees all the way to famine. There's been never a point in America, in a world history, where this many people were just in crisis when it comes to food insecurity and more. And that demands from us a more courageous love, where we see the humanity of everyone. And I'm happy people are pointing that out right now. It should not diminish our commitment to Ukraine, but it should expand our commitment to others suffering in this world.
That is beautiful and important perspective. Senator Cory Booker, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it. And you.
Thank you.
ABC News full coverage of the State of the Union address begins tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, with continuing coverage on ABC News Live.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.